What's Invoking, guys? So today we have a deck profile for the third place in Toronto Regionals.
Hello, my name is Kent Bautista. I won X1 in the Toronto Regionals last weekend. 9 rounds of Swiss. I played against, I think it was 2 or 3 Sword Souls, 3 Birds, 4 Mirrors, and then 1 random one, which is apparently Mystic Mind Burn. And I'll explain to you what I did in the deck profile. So yeah, overall the deck performed pretty well. I think it was very consistent. There's a few times where I bricked, but the deck was built to like have plays just in case you have those kind of hands where you're forced to do weird plays that people would tell you that it's weird otherwise. So yeah, I think the deck is great. It's probably one of the best decks. There's no definitive best deck, but any P.U.N.K variant decks are like really good this format, and it's really fun. So yeah, I chose to play this deck because I want to play hand traps and combo at the same time and have a consistent deck that can do well. So yeah, I'll just show you what I played. The usual 3 Enchantress, the Brave package, basically 3 Rights, the 1-up Faithful plus this. Some people play 2 Faithful. I think 1 is fine. I usually just send it off with Magician's Souls to draw more cards. Because if you're grinding, after you do that, you're probably losing the game. Or like something went horribly wrong along the side, like along your combo. And then I guess I'll do Griffin first because everyone plays that. And then Illegal Knight. This is a card that not everyone plays, but I think it's a good call for the regional specifically because the recent YCS just happened and obviously everyone saw Mystic Mine. This is technically can be an out to Mystic Mine. It also works in like matchups like back row decks like Eldritch. Literally, it's basically just a good generic bounce 2 that you can always bounce back with Draco back so you can abuse it. Yeah, at the very least, it's a level 7 free summon that you can use to synchro summon with your Veiler to go Chaos Ruler, or your Ash into Baron, or like Cheng Ying, whatever really synchro you need. Or you can just use this as a link material for whatever link 2 you want to make.
Halki 5X.
Halki 5X, yeah. So yeah, I'd probably still play this no matter what the event is because it's just a generic good card. You want to have options with this deck. That's the good thing about this deck. It's really flexible. So the fact that you can play 2 searchable, 1 is an Omni, 1 is a bounce, it was a good choice, I believe, and I think people should at least try to play it. And I would definitely still play it in the future. And then Foolish Burial to
drop it off.
Drop Enchantress. You can drop Snow. You can drop Jet Synchron or drop. Sorry, you can dump. Yeah, whatever card you really need from your deck that you can dump. If you really want, if you have like a Deer Note or something, if you want to dump a monster you want to revive with Deer Note, you can do that too. But usually you just dump Snow or Jet Synchron. For the P.U.N.K package, you only play 2 because you don't want to normal summon use the effect if you have the Enchantress, like the Brave combo. So you only open 2. It's searchable with the Foxy Tune here
and special summon with
Italy.
Yeah.
So Foxy Tune, you play it because first it's a light target. Second, it summons Deer Note and or Xiamen, whichever one you need. It's a level 8. It works well with your tuners, which is level 1. Well, not really the level 1. The level 3 one, so you can go to Psychic and Punisher, which I have a funny story about that later. But yeah, so you play it to basically, it's kind of like a neg 1 search for this, but once it resolves, the neg 1 doesn't really feel like a neg because you're gonna plus after. And then the new card that everyone is playing, Deer Note. First of all, it's the other monster you use to either link with the with Xiamen after you summon it. So you can either use that as synchro material or a link material. It doesn't matter as long as it goes to the grave. You can revive any of these 2. Its level is very relevant because it's level 5. So if you ever like free special summon this and summon like an Ash or something, you can go to a Chaos Ruler. So yeah, that's the P.U.N.K package, and then you just play Italy to summon
the Italy.
The Foxy.
Not once per turn.
Not once per turn. If you open this plus Enchantress, you're probably winning that game unless you get drolled. And even then, there's some ways that you can play around droll. It's not ideal, obviously, but if you practice the deck enough, you'll see the line where you can still end on like a sight lock after that. So.
Was there any situation where you didn't activate E-Tele?
Yes, at the final round, round 9, game 3, Uh, I was under anti-spell. It's a weird story. I guess I'll just tell it now. I was under anti-spell and I had evenly plus droplets to break the whole board of a mirror match. And then the fact that I forgot to activate this actually helped me win that game because I just set it because he kept the anti-spell even after all the evenly droplets. So if I summoned the monster with this, then I wouldn't have been able to resolve the evenly. I'd probably lose that match, to be honest. So yeah, but overall it's a good card. Searches Foxy, free extender, whatever. Uh, some cards that people are not playing, but I think they should play. Well, I mean, it's either this or like the Sangan package or both. I just chose to play this because I want to play Herald, plus I want to draw two with the Soul Sending Faithful plus Draco back. You only play 2/2. This is searchable with Herald after you do an Omni Negate. Yeah, 2/2 is fine. You don't need to play 3. Playing 1/1 is okay, but I like the flexibility of having the level 1 non-tuner because you do have a lot of free summons that are tuner. So you want something to go and coincide with that. And then the Broken Red Rose package. This summon from Hall, summon this, search this. You can either like do Riser play, you can do Dagda plays, you can do Baron, Cheng Ying. It's a good tuner, and I think every base deck or every synchro deck that can play it should play it. The one-ups, Jet Synchron, Fairytale Snow, Artifact Sight, Broken card. It should honestly be banned, but if you're given a chance to play something as good as this, you honestly should play it, despite what other people say. It's a good win condition, but what I learned from testing is you shouldn't rely on this to win games. It's a good win condition, but this should be like a win more kind of card. Don't actually rely on this when you play this deck. And then Snow is broken. You can combo this up with Riser. I play a level 7 in my extra deck that goes really well with Snow because because I play that card, Snow basically becomes a book 2 and then that card becomes another bounce. I'll show you in the extra deck. Call by the Grave, I don't want to get Droll, I don't want to get Ash. Even against Despia, if you have like a good hand, you might as well just save this to like target their branded in red target. Ironically enough, I didn't play against Despia decks, which is good because I don't know how I feel about that matchup. I haven't had enough experience with that, at least in play testing. I play tested again a lot against Sword Soul and like mirror matches, and thankfully I played against those decks instead because I had experience with them already, so I know what to hit and stuff. And but yeah, Callback is just a good card. It's at 1 for a reason. And then hand traps, 3 Ash, basic Veiler because you play Chaos Ruler. You want light targets. Also a tuner level 1 for Chaos Ruler to go into Hot Red. And you want to hit like Aluber and like even in the mirror match you want to use Veiler something at like Foxy Tuner or not Foxy, Xiamin or something. Yeah. And then this is
another
last
Chaos
minute
Ruler?
decision. First of all, Chaos Ruler target. Second of all, goods against random rogue decks and Sword Soul. Because if you have Veiler plus this, it just kind of breaks the board. Unless they make Chaoping, was that the guy? Yeah, the one that doesn't let you activate lights. But game 1, you still want it. It's a good blowout card. I use it a lot in game 1s, even against the mirror. It's really good because if you can Nibiru them in the right time. Let's say they didn't open the Brave package, but they're trying to do the sight lock. Then you just Nibiru them before they get there. They don't have good enough comebacks. They don't have follow-ups, and you get a free light target that you can link with or do whatever you want. Other choices that you can play is you can play Ghost Ogre, but I don't think it's really good this format. But it is light. That's a tuner. It works really well with the deck too. I just felt like Nibiru would be more of a it would help me more in the event. And then droplets, because everyone plays build a board kind of decks. Even mid-range decks have like, I don't know, 2 to 3 negates or something. And then you have a lot of cards that you can activate like right, and then you can chain E-Telly, and then you can chain this to send those 2 to negate 2 cards, and then if you want to negate another one, you can send a monster from your hand. It's just really good, even if you open it with souls for like, if you're going first and then you do the whole combo, you draw into this with souls, it's another interruption. It's really good against birds too, which I was really afraid of because they have the wind bear statue. So this can just, if they don't have Book of Moon, which sometimes of course they do, they can play around it. But yeah, it's just overall a good card to go second just in case you lose the dial. And then
two.
My personal quote-unquote tech card, Cosmic Cyclone in the main. Like I said, the YCS just happened recently, and a lot of people realize how good of a card Mystic Mine really is. So people do play Mystic Mine somewhere in the side, in the main, but I just played two that are chainable, just in case I run into Mystic Mine and or Floodgate cards. Because I know Eldritch is a really popular deck. They have some Floodgates that this deck can't really deal with, and this deals with that. Another fun fact about this card, this pays per cost, so it works really well in tandem with Psychic and Punisher. Because as long as your life points are lower, the Psychic and Punisher is unaffected, so it's a good, like, there's that mini synergy with that. So that's the main deck, 45 cards. If you have questions, you can feel free to ask me. But yeah, I think I wouldn't change anything for now. Maybe if you don't have droplets, you can play more hand traps, preferably light targets and or tuner to go with Hulky 5X.
Would you have to play MST instead of Cyclone just because of the scythe?
Honestly, this format, because Elder still exists, Cyclone would be better because it banishes the card. You don't have to deal with it anymore. And plus, like what I said with Psychic and Punisher and Cyclone, they go like toe-to-toe together, or they'll go coincide with each other. But yeah, so just have, pro tip, have any sort of back row removal in the main deck. And then extra deck, Dagda, Sight, you know it. Access code for OTK, and then Celine is usually how you get to access code. Let me just, Dark is a spellcaster that can go to Celine, and then you usually have like a spellcaster in the graveyard like TG Wonder Magician or Baylor. So once you do that, you revive it with this, you go to access code for OTK. Dark is good because I play more, I think more Darks than Lights. This can revive Mirror Jade, DPE if people play it, Chaos Ruler, like there's a lot of good generic Dark monsters, really. Even DD Crow, if they hit you, you can kind of combo up. D-Shifter as well, you can do that. But yeah, I think if you have space, you can play Lina too. It's good if you play both to have more flexibility, but I opted to play this because I only have space for one, and Dark is the one that works well at this version of the deck instead, at least. There's another one, the Earth Charmer, because you play the P.U.N.K variants. The Earth Charmer is, can revive like a Foxy, not a Foxy, Xiamen. So yeah, it can revive a Xiamen from your opponent's grave because everyone's playing like some sort of P.U.N.K variants. So yeah, you can do that because your Adventure Choke is also an Earth. So yeah, that's another option, but I think for this deck specifically, this is better. Next one, Link Revo, it's for Jet Synchron, so you can revive it to go to Dagda. This should be Anima, because Anima it has the same like Link material, level 1 monster, but Anima's more flexible. You can like take cards that people summon under the EMZ. Hulky 5X, this can tag out to Synchro tuners that I will show you, which is also your way to resolve the Sight Lock combo with TG Wonder Magician. And it facilitates the main combo of the deck, which is do this, summon Red Rose, Baron stuff, blah blah blah. Synchro, you play Chaos Ruler, level 8, mill 5, add 1 light or dark. You can add Magician Souls, you can add Baylor, Nibiru, whatever you really need. You can even add Foxytune if you need to go further with your combo. Herald of the Archetype, because I play the Magician Soul package. This is an Omni Negate that helps play around droplets, which everyone is playing. Well, at least I think everyone would be playing to like break boards that decks like these make. Also, this works well with Illusion of Chaos because once you negate, this goes to the grave. You can search Illusion of Chaos for follow-up. So yeah, the main reason why I play this is to play around droplets, and it has a neat effect where it's like a mini macro Cosmos kind of from hand and deck, I believe. Yeah.
That's actually really good.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're playing the Magician's Soul package, just play it. It's really good. Baron, because it's part of the main combo. It's an Omni Negate. It's generically a good card that can tag out to summon the site that you already used, so you can Sight Lock them again on the next turn if they're still alive. Shooting Riser, this is your way to sending Snow. So when you send Snow, this becomes a level 3, which is kind of relevant. Super relevant, actually. Because if you summon Snow, book something, so you have you now use your book with the Snow. You have a 4 and a 3, and this can go into the Moonlight, which will put the Snow back in the grave, and then the Moonlight will bounce back 1 monster. It's good in matchups like Sword Soul, especially if you can use Snow twice because they really rely on having materials for synchro summoning. Even again like even against road decks like I don't know P.K. or something, if you can book their level 3s, they can't go to XYZ or Link. So yeah, so the synergy with these two is amazing. Riser can also send something like Token Collector, which I play inside. It can send Enchantress for follow-up if you really need. Yeah, so this is one of the Hulk targets that you can go to during your opponent's main phase. Hot Red is for the Chaos Ruler plus any tuner that you normal summon like Veiler or even Jet Synchron if you can recycle it from the grave. It's another Omni Negate, plays around evenly, or sometimes you can play around Dark Ruler. What I like to do is keep the Basal Shoot in the, like I don't use Basal Shoot at all if I can combo up without it. So I just set Basal Shoot so they go Dark Ruler, chain Basal Shoot, summon Red Rose, and then chain this to negate their Dark Ruler. Otherwise, you just lose to Dark Ruler. Cheng Ying, one of the MVPs. This goes well with Riser, plus, like, because you would have Riser send Snow, and then once you go into this with Wonder Magician, and then you pop the site, right? So that's a 5 tuner and a 5 non-tuner. You go into this. So with the Snow in the grave, plus this, you have 2 banishes, 1 book, and then depending on the rest of your board, you can even have the combo I told you earlier with the double book plus bounce with Moonlight. Wonder Magician, this is how you do the Sight Lock combo. It's a level 5. At the very least, if you don't need the Sight Lock, this is still a good MST kind of card. Like if you play against a mirror match and you don't have a way to Sight Lock or something, you can use this effect to pop their Fateful so they don't plus. And then the last card, MVP of the regionals. Every round I summon this because whenever I get hand trap or something, I would have like a weak board. But if they can't kill me, usually I would have less flight points than them. So this is really good because this becomes unaffected. And at the last round, final round, game 3, when all comes to worst, I only had one synchro play, and it was this, and it was the game changer. I was at, I believe, 1,000 life points at the end, and then my opponent had 74. Used this effect to boost it. It became, I believe, 9,900. My opponent had 74, or 74, 64, something like that, because she paid with Foxy, with Xiamen for cost. So yeah, this is really good to one shot. It's really good against back row decks. Really, they can't deal with it. Like Eldritch can't deal with this. You just gotta be really smart with how you manipulate the life points, because once your life points are higher than them, obviously this becomes unaffected. So yeah, big shout out to David NGO for lending me this card. I wouldn't have won regionals without it, and I would still continue to play this in the future.
Right.
Side deck.
Sides.
Yeah, obviously this is people's choices. They can play whatever they want. 3 evenly. This is good for back row decks. This is how I won my last round, droplets evenly. Yeah, it's just a good blowout card for going second.
Yep.
Token Collector, you can send this with Riser,
Right.
along with this plus this. So these are the Riser targets. I opted not to play this in the main, and I just played Nibiru instead because it does the same job for Sword Souls. And I can just always send this with Riser if I do side it. And so with this is for like bird matchup. This is for like any like mirror match or any like anything that uses tokens, mainly Sword Souls.
Mm-hmm.
And then DD Crow, this was the card I wanted to use for Despia, which I never played against, weirdly enough.
Did it come up?
It came up once, because I only saw it once when I sided it. It was against Strip, funny enough. So he went Foolish Burial, Enchantress, and I go Resolution, Crow, and then his end board was very not good. It was not...
Mediocre.
It's mediocre, yeah. I think I also Nibiru'd him the same turn, so yeah, I won that. But yeah, DD Crow is there for like graveyard reliant decks like P.K, like Despia, even Sword Soul. It's kind of niche. I wouldn't side it, but if you have nothing else, you can put that. And MVP of the day, anti-spell. Everyone is playing like some good anti-spell, everyone's playing engines that have good spells, like Brave Package, Tyrions, ABC, because that's a new deck that's popular right now. Literally every card or every deck that plays a lot of spells, you side this in, you draw it, you're probably winning that game. And every time I drew this, I won that game. And then lastly, draw. This was supposed to be in the main deck and then Nibiru in the side. I just decided to swap them out. The idea for this, if you want to play in the main deck, is it's good in the mirror match. It's good in some like weird rogue decks that are playing some P.U.N.K variants or like Brave package. But I just opted to play Nibiru with because of the synergy with Chaos Ruler. Up to you if you want to play this in the main, but this should be anywhere in your deck, whether it be side or main. Yeah. Other cards you can play, I guess, is Forbidden Chalice or like what else? Dimensional Barrier. I didn't play it because I felt like I would play against a lot of Synchro decks that either the mirror match or like Sword Soul, because it's really popular, even more popular than Despia as I mentioned. And I think it was a good choice because if I do, let's say I sided it against like, I don't know, Sword Soul, then all my negates are just useless. But if you can play it, feel free to play it. It's a really good card. It ends, it's a turn ender for a lot of decks like Despia's. Even this deck, sometimes we struggle if we get D-Barrier, but we have the links to play around it. So yeah, that's the deck profile. 15 side, 15 extra, 45 main. Nothing I would really change for now. So yeah, do you have any questions for me?
Any like hard matchups that you thought should be like prevalent?
The hard matchup that I was thinking was going to be Despia, because if they make their full board and I don't open Optimal, it's really hard to break their boards. I really need to open like Ash or Veiler, preferably both against that deck. Another one's Splendors or Birds, Flounderies. Game 1, I don't have a lot of cards against them. I guess I have Cyclone and Droplets or like Veiler, but if I don't open it, it's really hard to break their board, especially with the Wind Bearer statue. Yeah, the mirror match is really scary because I know what the deck can do, and if I don't open a hand trap, it's basically a free win for my opponent.
Alright.
So yeah, I have a few shout outs to give.
There you
I
go.
have a shout out to my circle. There's Matthew, Mariano, Aaron, Aldrin,
Hi.
David again for the Synchro, for the Punisher, Peter for giving me tips. Basically the whole Untouchable crew. Shout out to Team Invoker. We're live again. We're live after fist bump. After 2 years, I don't know how long it's been.
It's been a long time. That's
It's been
all.
a long time. Yeah. Shout out to Toronto Regionals. Lots of repairs, but yeah,
But
it was fun.
It was way too many repairs
Yeah,
that day.
it was a good event overall. First event in like 2 years. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for cameraman Aldrin
Thank
for
you.
recording, and that's it. Nothing
Alright.
else to shout out for. If I forget something, I will give you a shout out in the next one, I guess.
Right. Stay invoking. Keep
Stay invoking, keep invoking. Remember to normal Alistair.
All right. Bye.
That's it. Peace out.